So, I lived on a sailboat for 5 months with 2 strangers I had never met before. How did I do it, you might ask? I'm gonna let you know. Cheers to us, mainly me. I joined a Facebook group called Sailboat Hitchhikers and Crew Connection in 2019. And I didn't get on a sailboat until 2023. And I actually didn't end up on the sailboat that I initiated to get on. So I reached out to this guy.
Well, what motivated?
So, okay, I was always a traveler, and I was just going to New Zealand at the time, and I knew that sailing was a pretty big thing in New Zealand. I mean, they're surrounded by the ocean. So I was like, gonna get on this page. Maybe there's sailors there that want to get me on board. Posted something asking if they wanted to let me join for like a day or whatever. But no bites. But stuck with the page, you know, kept hope alive.
Yes, that's good.
A few years later, I'm living at home in Texas, where I was residing. And I ended up breaking both my elbows. That's right, not just one, but 2. Both these chickadees. So I was stuck for about 8 weeks, like this, on the couch. I had one good finger. I was able to work the remote, and I could search through that YouTube, watching sailing videos. I got really into it. Shout out SV Delos and La Vagabond. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna get on a sailboat. Once these bows heal, I'm getting out there. I'm getting on the water. So around March 14th is when I broke both my elbows. Then I saw this guy's post on the Facebook page, and I reached out to him on March 30th, like this, with my good finger. I saw his post, and it just sounded like we were a great match. You know, he seemed chill, adventurous. He wanted to do kite surfing, exploring, and he was going from Central California down to Baja into the Sea of Cortez. So I thought, okay, great fit, you know, close to home, great place to start off. So I reached out to him, and we had a little bit of back and forth, and then we had one phone call. I think we ended up talking for about 40 minutes and had really good banter, felt like we really hit it off, thought, okay, this will be a great roommate on the boat. I can live with him. Turns out I couldn't. So I ended up flying down there, end of May, beginning of June, and I met up with him at the airport. But also a funny story there. He knew I was arriving at whatever time at this airport. He goes, okay, I'll pick you up. And then I message him, hey, I'm here. And he's like, I'm running an errand. So I'm left at a Mexican airport for, I think, at least 3 hours. And this was like a red-eye flight. So I tried to take a nap in the lobby. And I think I have a funny picture of some cops hanging out behind me, which I like felt like they were my personal bodyguards. We'll insert it here if I have it.
Yes.
So Reed picked me up from the airport. Then I drove with him, his brother Garrett, and his sister-in-law Ruth, who you may know from Salt and Tar, another YouTube channel. We drove about 4 hours north to Puerto Escondido from La Paz, and we all had a great time in the car. Ellie was there also. That's the dog. And then we got on the boat. I got on a mua with Reed and Ellie, and us 3 ended up sailing over to, what's the island? Isla Coronado, I want to say. Something like that. And I was just really wanting to ground myself and have some peaceful time alone. So I spent a lot of time on the beach and just being with myself and being in nature. And it was really, really peaceful. Then I ended up spending more time with Garrett and Ruth, and we all really hit it off. So I actually ended up jumping ship. They invited me onto their boat about a week and a half after I got onto Reed's boat. All right, so I know it might seem weird to get on a sailboat with someone I've never met, but I've just always been excited to try these new things in life and gain these new experiences. And I don't think fear helps in any way. I think it's good to be cautious and good to be aware of your surroundings, obviously. I just felt like we had a good connection. I could tell he was a good guy. It might not have led to great things with him, but my connection with him led me to meeting Garrett and Ruth, which was amazing. So the first 24 hours on Reed's boat was slightly different than I had imagined, even though I didn't imagine that much. So every time we anchored, I was just super stoked to get in the water. I remember the first time we anchored, I just put on snorkeling gear and I was ready to get in. And then all of a sudden I got in and I couldn't see down below, even though I thought it was going to be a lot clearer. And I kind of freaked out internally because no one else was with me. Reed was tired from the sail. And then I waited for these other friends that had their boats, and they had their dinghy and they wanted to wakeboard. So I said, yeah, I haven't wakeboarded since I was a kid, but I'll try it. I just want to be on the water, be in the water, whatever. And then I got stung by jellyfish. I tried a couple times and kept falling down. You know, I also, besides my bad elbows, I also have a bad knee. So when I was 17, that thing blew up. So kept trying to get up, was not happening. Eventually I got it after I got stung. So I got stung, then I wanted to get out and I just said, let's call it. Then the guys got on the dinghy because they needed like more weight on the front of the dinghy, because before it was just a girl driving for me. And then Reed and his friend were driving for me, and then I got up and I think I was up for like 15 minutes or something like that, and it was amazing. Like I saw stingrays under the water. I almost want to say I saw a whale, but I didn't see a whale. I just want to say that. I was near boats, out on anchorage. It was amazing. Like within 24 hours of getting on a boat, I had that experience of being on top of the water, feeling like I'm on top of the world, and just seeing the life float around below me. It was amazing. Almost watching the sunset over the volcano. I knew this is what I had come here for. These kind of experiences. Not saying no, not giving up. You know, I hadn't done that in a while. I was never really good at it as a kid, but I wanted to get good at things. I wanted to get good at being on the water. So I was super stoked to have gotten the opportunity to stay on Reed's boat. But what was even better was that Garrett and Ruth were ready for a longer term deckhand, which was me.
When you're at the tail, you can just poke it through like that.
Still a little.
So they invited me on about a week and a half into my journey with Reed. And they just really wanted to show me the beauties of sailing. They also have a traditional gaff rig, which is a lot different than a more, what do you call that? A more modern day rig. So I got to see a whole different side of sailing. All of it is learning a whole different language, but especially with their boat. which is also handmade. You can check out their page for that. So that's how I ended up on a sailboat. And I just want to tell you all out there, don't be afraid of whatever dreams you have in your mind, because they could end up way greater than you ever imagined.